So why are more and more people excited about building a prefab home? Well, if you take a look at a website from a company like Connect Homes, you'll see that the cost of a home is as little as $350 per square foot. So it's cheaper than you could ever build a traditional home in Sonoma County. But before you decide to go ahead, I'll explain why that isn't necessarily the case, and I'll also share the best and the worst things about building a prefab home. So first up, what is a prefab home? Well, there are really two types of prefab homes, a manufactured home and a modular home. So let's start off with manufactured homes. These are literally built in a factory. They have a bad reputation because of the image they conjure up of, a 1970s manufactured home delivered on the back of a trailer. But Connect Homes, they're manufactured homes, but they're definitely one of the coolest looking homes out there. And there are lots of different companies out there that do make manufactured homes, but Connect Homes, they have 23 different models to choose from. So while you are limited to one of their floor plans, you have a ton of options to choose from. And then the home is literally built in the factory and then delivered on the back of a truck, or rather delivered on the back of multiple trucks. But if you don't like the look of the homes, or you don't like the layout of one of their floor plans, then they're probably not the right company for you. Modular homes, on the other hand, they're different because they're more akin to designing and building a home using a predetermined set of building blocks. You've got a lot more freedom in designing a home to your specifications, as long as the home's designed specifically for a modular system like that from Lindell Homes or Guerneville Homes, which was actually formerly Blue Homes. The components are all built in a factory before being delivered to the building site to be assembled, a bit like a big Lego house. So what are the pros and cons? So let's start with the pros. Whether it's a manufactured home or a modular home, the great thing is that the home is built in a factory, in a controlled environment. I mean, how many times have you seen a house being framed out and then it just sits there in the pouring rain before the roof goes on? I mean, you just don't get that with a home built in a factory. So as well as the overall environment being controlled, there's also a greater opportunity for quality control of the labour in the factory, where you don't have to rely on casual labour or subcontractors to maintain the overall quality. The next pro is the sustainability. Generally, a manufactured home is going to be more sustainable than a traditional built home, not just from the materials used, but because many pre-built homes, such as Guerneville, are built to highly energy efficient standards because the efficiencies can be designed into the DNA of the home. On top of that, there is generally less wastage because the homes are being designed and manufactured to a highly optimized template. There's just less wastage. The other big benefit is that it's easier to control the costs. I mean, we've all heard of general contractors issuing change orders through the construction process, which can result in an overrun of 20%, 30%, or even more over the original estimated cost. The good thing with a manufactured home or a prefab home is that as soon as you sign the contract, you know what it's going to cost. There just aren't the same variables that cause the cost to go up and out of control compared to a traditional built home. While the build cost may not actually be much cheaper, overall there's less risk, or rather more certainty over the actual finished cost. So what are the disadvantages? Well, the first one is the fact that there is less customization. By their very nature, the homes are pre-designed, or in the case of modular homes, have to be designed to the specification of the modules. Even with a manufactured home, such as a Connect home, you can choose some of the finishes, but there's a very specific set of materials that you get to choose from. So it does limit your overall choices. The other disadvantage is that the locations where they can be built, they have their physical limitations. Because a home like a Connect home is delivered literally on the back of a truck, with the need for a crane to then lower the homes into position on the foundation, you can't build a manufactured home in a location where you can't get a huge articulated truck. I mean, this might not sound too limiting, but these are big trucks that need to be escorted down the freeway, so you definitely can't build one up a small lane or in the middle of a forest. A modular home does have more flexibility, but you still need pretty good access. Finally, the price you see on the website is not the price of the finished home. And this is really important. The price you see is literally the cost of the home that is built in the factory and delivered on the back of the truck. It does not include the cost of preparing the site, building the foundations, doing all the landscaping, hooking up all the utilities, and all the other elements that need to be done to get a home completed. These costs can easily increase the cost of the home by 50% on top of the price of the manufactured home. So what are the other important considerations? Well, first, you need to find a buildable lot. I mean, it's all very well finding a cool design for a manufactured home, but you need somewhere to put it. In Sonoma County, this is definitely where the challenge begins and also the expense begins. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to get a lot for less than $250,000. I mean, if you want a lot that is build ready in one of the popular places in wine country, it'll likely cost you $500,000 to, up to, $1.5 million. If you see a lot for less than $250,000 in a decent location, the chances are there's something wrong with it. For example, a client of mine, Marissa, bought a flat 1 acre lot in a great part of Kenwood for $750,000, and she'll likely end up with a home that will be worth over $3 million in a neighborhood that can easily support that valuation. I mean, what you don't want to do is to buy a lot in an area where building a modern prefab home will be too much house for the neighborhood, so it won't support the ultimate valuation of the finished home. And the other thing you need to think about, to state the obvious, you need water, sewer, electric and gas. Hooking up the utilities and electric and gas, or propane in rural areas is pretty straightforward, but it all costs money. So if you are thinking of buying a lot for your prefab home, this is probably one of the most important things to think about. You need a lot that will support the number of bedrooms in the home that you want to build. If you don't have that, there are no guarantees you'll be able to build the home that you want to. A septic system in will likely cost you $60,000 to $100,000. And there are lots where septic systems can cost as much as $200,000. So you need to know in advance what you're getting into. And this all adds a lot to the cost of the build that's quoted on the Container Home website. The other challenge is financing. You need to finance the entire project. This includes purchasing the lot, paying for the site development, including foundations and utilities, and of course buying the prefab home itself. My client Marissa worked with Ty Kirkpatrick from Arroyo Consulting Group, who specialises in working with clients who want to finance construction as well as have somebody to help them through the process. They provide both the lot and construction loans, as well as the permanent financing at the end of the construction. And it's worth bearing in mind that financing a construction loan for a prefab home is a bit different from financing traditional construction because there are two distinct parts to it. There's the financing for all the site work with a general contractor, and then there's the financing for the prefab home itself. So for a 2,000 square foot Connect 6 home, the list price is $684,000 before any upgrades. And the cost of the ADU is $184,000, so making a total of $868,000. But as I said, the cost of the site work can easily add another 50% on top of that to the entire project. Even on a flat lot, the cost of the prefab home to the site work and the infrastructure, the ratio can be 2 to 1. So on a more complicated lot, that ratio, it'll only increase. The great thing about Marissa's loan is that as soon as the construction is complete, it automatically rolls into a regular loan without requiring a new loan or any new appraisal. Once you're approved, you don't need to requalify, which is a great thing about this particular type of loan. So what are the best things about prefab homes? Well, certainly in my view, like the delivery day, it was absolutely unbelievable. I've never seen the delivery of a home of this scale, so it was really exciting when I went to see Marissa's project being delivered. In her case, she had an ADU, a 2,000 square foot home and a Connect Home carport all delivered on the same day. The ADU was the first module to be set down on its foundations. And because the ADU is a self-contained unit, it was delivered almost move-in ready. The floors were in, the tile was in, even the appliances were all in the kitchen. It was literally ready to go once you'd got it hooked up. The main house, on the other hand, it was a little different because it was delivered in 6 different modules that all need fitting together like a big Jenga puzzle. It was awesome to see them being picked up off the trucks one by one and seeing them dropped into place. So including the delivery of the ADU, all the 6 units for the main house and the carport. The whole process took just over 5 hours, which is pretty impressive. It's definitely a slick operation. So should you consider buying a prefab home? You probably gathered I'm a huge fan of the modern aesthetic of the Connect homes, but there are lots of more traditional prefab homes out there. If you've never built your own home, a prefab is a much less daunting option because of the greater certainty around the costs, not to mention the excitement of delivery day. That being said, you still need to find an affordable lot that is easy to build on and has access to full services. I mean, that part is no different from building a traditional home. However, you will have to compromise on being able to come up with your own design, but you'll end up with a great product at definitely an affordable price. I get calls all the time from people looking to buy homes around the Healdsburg area, around Sonoma, Windsor, and across Sonoma County at large. So do reach out to me if you are looking at buying or building a home in Sonoma County. Or if you'd just like to know more information, my number's in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll love the next one on screen right. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, go well.